Well, hey guys, I am back for real. Here we go. And for my first kind of big video, big nothing. For my first video back, I decided I was curious about Obsidian Blades. Now, this is not a new development. Ancient cultures were using obsidian as knives thousands of years ago. The Aztecs especially were really refined in how to take obsidian. Now, this is napped, and if you don't know what it means, napped is when you take some kind of, flint, obsidian, other stuff, and you basically take a rock and you hit it on the edges so that you create an edge. Now, what that does is, you can see, it gives you a very rough edge. Not necessarily not sharp, but you see it's not smooth at all. It is what it is. The Aztecs were able, through a technique that they invented that is hardly ever done now, was able to make consistent, thin, I say smooth in terms of the not this jagged serrated, but they were able to make knives and swords out of obsidian that the Spanish, when they were down there, the conquistadors, they were terrified of it. So today, if you're going to get an obsidian blade, you're most likely going to find something like this. This is not very expensive. It came from, now that I'm in Oregon, there's a lot of native culture and tribes here. So this came from one of them, one of the, it's not really the reservation, but it's like kind of, anyway. So this is not, yes, it is real obsidian, which is basically a form of glass. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. But so, this is very basic. Now, obviously, with this, you were not going to, I can't even pick the paper up. See what happens when I take a break? With a blade like this, the paper test is not, it's not going to happen. But that doesn't mean it's not sharp. Because obsidian does, when it's napped, or whatever the Aztecs did, it gives you a very sharp edge. It's just jagged. So I've got this lovely little piece of tri-tip right here that I'm going to make jerky out of, but I figured this would be, we could use the blade and see how it cuts, because this is something that it would actually have been used for back in ancient times. You gotta cut meat, you gotta, field strip stuff. So let's get into it. Now, tri-tip, if you don't know, it's a great cut of steak. Amazing. It is a little fatty. So first, let's see if we can just can we slice, if I was using a regular fine edge, I'd be able to just slice this fat right off. It's not bad. It's a little more, it's a very thick blade, so it's a little hard to get nice thin cuts. And also, because of the jagged nature of it, it's hard to just get a nice, clean cut, but it is cutting. It is cutting very well. Let's go. I'll leave the orientation right here. So let's just see how well this cuts. Because it goes right through, and it is there you are. It's a relatively clean piece of meat, right? The cut anyway. Doesn't look jagged, even though you'd think maybe it would be. Because basically, so when you're cutting things, cutting into any kind of flesh anyway, and this is back to medical stuff, there's two ways that you can get cut. You can get an incision, or you can get a laceration. An incision is a nice, clean cut. So if you are, I don't know, you're doing some woodwork, whatever, and you accidentally slice with a sharp knife, that's actually an incision. We think of incision as just a surgical procedure when you're going to cut into something. That's not it. Now, laceration is where you get a jagged cut, and it's not at all two even sides. It's much worse, and it's much harder to repair with stitches and everything. Usually, the doctor's going to go in and they're going to cut the jagged edges of skin and then pull it together. But I would expect that this would not be as clean a cut as it was, but it is very, very clean. And again, obsidian, when napped, is not nice and fine. there's that jagged edge, but it's cutting really nicely. It does really well. Now, I wish that I had, I can't remember the name of the knife and sword, and I wouldn't be able to pronounce it anyway. I wish I had one of the old Aztec ones. Sorry, see? Took a break and I can't speak. That would be really cool, but even when you look online, the ones that they have are not really the same. You'll notice it's lots of little jagged pieces like this. So maybe one day I'll get my hands on it and we'll look at it. But I just thought that this was interesting and different. Looking at, this is, the knife. The knife is the original tool of humans, and this is how many of the first ones were made. Not necessarily out of obsidian, but out of. Sorry, I'm cutting and I want to focus. That's a beautiful cut. Look at that. I love this meat. So, okay, there we go. Cool thing to look at. You can get these. They'll range in price from $20-25 all the way up to $200-300, depending on how it's made and the quality and the detailing. This was on the cheaper side, of course, but I think it's pretty cool. And it's, if you've got a nice knife collection, it's just cool to have in it. So there's a lot of the history of Obsidian Blades and ceremonial knives and all that stuff that I've left out, but given what we looked at and cut here, what do you guys think? Cool? Not cool? Would you if you had a knife collection, many people watching this channel too, would you want to put one of these in there? Just even if you never used it, just to have a cool primitive type cutting tool, but that really still works. I mean, it's cool. So trying something different. I don't know if you guys like different. I don't like different, but we'll see. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. Again, thanks for hanging in there as I went through some more medical stuff. I know a few people are a little like, why didn't you update us and stuff? And I get it. I set that expectation. I did, because that's usually what I do. But if you watch my last video, it says why. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. Remember that you are all absolutely awesome, and I appreciate every single one of you. And I'll be back again real soon.